Something major just went down in Cleveland, and it might change everything for Shedeur Sanders. After weeks of speculation, the Browns shocked everyone by trading veteran quarterback Joe Flacco to the Cincinnati Bengals, a move that almost no one saw coming. Fans are calling it risky. Insiders say it's calculated. But one thing's clear: this trade just opened a brand new door for Shedeur Sanders. For months, the Browns have quietly been holding on to Sanders despite multiple trade inquiries from other teams. The Raiders, the 49ers, even a few NFC sleepers reportedly made calls. Yet Cleveland wouldn't budge. They kept him, protected him. And now, with two quarterbacks ahead of him, Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco, both traded away, Shedeur suddenly finds himself standing closer than ever to the starting role. But this isn't just about opportunity. It's about trust. Did the Browns finally decide to bet on their young quarterback? Or is this just another temporary shuffle in a season full of uncertainty? Even Browns insider Tony Rizzo hinted that this move was all about getting a look at Sanders. But if that's true, why now? What are they really planning behind the scenes? In this video, we're breaking down everything: the trade, the rumors, the insider comments, and what this all means for Shedeur Sanders' future in Cleveland. Because this isn't just another roster move, it might be the beginning of a new era. Let's start with what we actually know. Early this morning, reports dropped that the Cleveland Browns had finalized a deal sending Joe Flacco to the Cincinnati Bengals in exchange for a late-round draft pick. On paper, it looked like a quiet transaction. Veteran quarterback moved for minimal value. Nothing to see here, but if you've been following the Browns this season, you know there's never nothing to see. Every move has a deeper motive, and this one, it screams transition. Joe Flacco's time in Cleveland was short, but complicated. He came in as the steady veteran presence, a safety net for a team that's been searching for quarterback stability for years. But beneath the surface, tension had been building. Sources around the organization say the staff wanted to pivot toward developing younger talent, rather than leaning on experience that wouldn't last beyond this season. That's where Shedeur Sanders comes in. When the news broke, even longtime Browns insider Tony Rizzo was stunned, but quick to point out something crucial. This move isn't just about Flacco leaving. It's about Cleveland finally making room to see what Sanders can do. And that's the headline hiding behind the headline. The Browns didn't make this trade because they had to. They made it because they wanted to. They wanted flexibility. They wanted options. And most of all, they wanted eyes on the player they've been quietly protecting for months. Remember, several teams reportedly tried to pry Sanders away. Las Vegas, San Francisco, even Denver, but every time, Cleveland said no. Now, with two veteran quarterbacks, Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco, out of the picture, Shedeur's path just got a whole lot clearer. Officially, he's listed as QB2. Unofficially, the Browns might be setting the stage for something bigger, because when a team cleans house like this, it's not by accident, it's by design. And the design might just be pointing straight toward Shedeur Sanders' first real shot. So what does all this actually mean for Shedeur Sanders? In short, opportunity. Real, tangible, game-changing opportunity. With Joe Flacco gone and Kenny Pickett already shipped out, Sanders has quietly climbed the ladder to QB2, sitting just behind Dillon Gabriel, who's expected to start this week. That shift alone changes everything. It means more reps in practice, more film time, and more eyes watching his every move. For the first time since joining the Browns, Shedeur isn't just a developmental project. He's part of the immediate conversation. But let's be clear. Being QB2 doesn't guarantee anything. In the NFL, next man up can turn into back to the bench in a single drive. Still, the timing feels deliberate. After months of keeping Sanders off the trade block, even when other teams came calling, it's obvious Cleveland sees something they're not ready to let go of. Fans have wanted to see what the kid can really do. Now, so do the Browns. And if Shedeur takes this moment seriously, this might be the season he flips the entire quarterback narrative in Cleveland. Because right now, he's closer than ever to stepping into the spotlight. Let's be honest, the Cleveland Browns don't usually play the long game with quarterbacks. They cycle through veterans, journeymen, and one-season wonders more times than fans can count. But this time, it feels different. By keeping Shedeur Sanders off the trade market, even when teams like the Raiders and 49ers reportedly called, Cleveland sent a message. They're protecting something valuable. They didn't just want another backup. They wanted their guy for the future. And here's the thing, Sanders isn't just talented, he's marketable. His name alone brings attention, and his calm, confident presence resonates with younger fans. Inside sources even suggest the Browns coaching staff sees him as the next evolution of the franchise. Someone who can bridge the old-school grit of Cleveland football with the modern flash of a rising star. Trading Flacco wasn't just clearing cap space, it was clearing the runway. Because when a team moves two quarterbacks in one season and keeps the rookie waiting in the wings, that's not coincidence, that's conviction. Now the question is, how much do they really trust him when the lights come on? We're about to find out. Of course, every bold move comes with a price. And for the Cleveland Browns, this one could backfire fast. By trading away veterans like Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett, the team has stripped itself of the safety net that experience provides. Sure, the locker room is buzzing about Shedeur Sanders, but let's not forget, he's still unproven at the professional level. No regular season starts, no pressure-packed fourth quarters, just potential. That's both the blessing and the curse. If Shedeur shines, Cleveland looks like geniuses, visionaries who trusted their instincts. But if he struggles early, the narrative flips overnight. The Browns gambled the season on hype. The fans have seen this movie before. Countless next franchise quarterbacks who never quite lived up to the billing. And with Bailey Zappi still floating in the mix, the quarterback room isn't as stable as it looks. One bad game, one tough stretch, and the hierarchy could shift all over again. That's why this move feels so risky. It's not just about who's throwing the ball. It's about what message the team is sending. They're betting big on youth, hope, and upside. And in the NFL, that's a razor-thin line between brilliance and disaster. When it comes to the Cleveland Browns, no one knows the inner workings better than Tony Rizzo, a longtime Browns insider with a solid record of breaking stories before they go public. And according to him, this trade isn't just a roster shuffle, it's a signal. Rizzo said it bluntly, the Browns want to get a look at Shedeur Sanders this season. Simple words, but they carry a lot of weight. Because if that's true, it means the coaching staff is done hiding in behind veterans. They want to see what the kid looks like under real NFL pressure, not just in practice or preseason highlights. And it's not just Rizzo. Other local analysts have started echoing the same sentiment, that Cleveland has quietly been positioning Sanders for a breakout moment. They've passed on multiple trade offers, avoided signing additional backups, and kept his name in the headlines. All signs that point to preparation, not coincidence. Still, even Rizzo admits the team is being cautious. The message isn't, he's the guy now. It's, we need to see if he can be. And that's what makes this moment so fascinating. It's not confirmation, it's curiosity. Cleveland is finally ready to peek behind the curtain, and fans are watching closely. While the trade talk keeps swirling, Shedeur Sanders hasn't said much, and that silence speaks volumes. Unlike most young players eager to post, react, or clap back at critics, Sanders has stayed composed, calm, calculated. It's the same demeanor he showed back in college, confident but never desperate for attention. Insiders close to the team say that behind the scenes, he's been putting in extra hours at the facility, quietly earning respect from coaches and teammates. But make no mistake, he knows what's at stake. Shedeur grew up in the spotlight, the son of NFL Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, a man who taught him that greatness isn't inherited, it's earned. That upbringing shows. Even when fans or analysts question his readiness, his response is simple: prove it on the field. And that's what's winning people over. He's not chasing headlines. He's letting the headlines chase him. Publicly, he's become one of the most talked about young quarterbacks in the league. Not because of what he says, but because of how he carries himself. That quiet confidence, that "I'll show you when it's time" energy, has fans believing that maybe, just maybe, he's built for this moment. And Cleveland's about to find out if that belief pays off. So what's next for Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns? Right now, all signs point toward a quiet test phase, a few weeks of increased reps, subtle shifts in game prep, and maybe, just maybe, a surprise appearance before the season's over. Coaches won't say it publicly, but insiders suggest the Browns want to see Sanders in live action before the offseason. Not to crown him the starter, but to measure how he handles pressure, leadership, and adversity when it counts. If he performs well, the door to QB1 in 2026 swings wide open. If not, Cleveland still has time to recalibrate. That's the beauty. And the risk of this timing. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel remains the starter, but even that role isn't written in stone. One bad performance, one spark from Sanders in practice, and the narrative flips instantly. For now, fans should expect subtle signs, more sideline conversations, increased media attention, and quiet buzz from teammates hinting that change is coming. Because when a franchise starts clearing the deck, it's usually for a reason. And right now, that reason looks a lot like Shedeur Sanders. The only question left: how long until Cleveland finally hands in the keys? When you step back and look at the full picture, this isn't just about a single trade. It's about a shift in direction. For years, the Cleveland Browns have been searching for stability, chasing the next great quarterback who could finally bring consistency to a franchise defined by chaos. Now, for the first time in a long time, they might actually be building something. Slowly, deliberately, around a name that carries both weight and expectation: Shedeur Sanders. The decision to trade veterans like Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett wasn't just a personnel move. It was a statement. The Browns are tired of stopgaps. They're tired of short-term fixes. They want to see if the future they've been protecting is ready to step into the spotlight. And that's where the story gets interesting. Because whether Shedeur rises to the challenge or struggles under the pressure, one thing's certain: the entire league will be watching. This is more than a quarterback competition. It's a turning point, a gamble that could redefine not just Cleveland's offense, but its identity. So what do you think? Is this the moment the Browns finally find their franchise QB? Or just another chapter in their long, unpredictable saga?